Roger Federer has always been an absolute beast when it comes to tennis. It was a dark day in sports history when he announced his retirement from the sport. From his breakout win in 2001 against Sampras at Wimbledon to his battle against Rafael Nadal, Federer has played some breathtaking matches throughout his career. It's not easy to pick out a small number of his games, but we've decided to give it a shot, so keep watching. First up at number 10, 2009 Wimbledon final versus Roddick. The final was one of the best tennis matches in 2009. Roger was nowhere near his best during this match, but the way he hung in there and stepped up with the goods when it mattered the most was amazing. In both the second and fifth sets, Federer made great escapes, and in the process of doing so, he fulfilled his destiny by winning the most Grand Slam titles in the history of tennis. Along with the Wimbledon final in 2008, this match was one for the ages. A great struggle with a fairy tale ending. Federer's serve was the one thing that kept him in the game, while the rest of his game was world class. Roger ended the game with a perfect 50 aces, and maybe out-acing the best servers in tennis by 23 aces. Coming up at number 9, 2008 Wimbledon final versus Rafael Nadal. When it comes to picking the best tennis match out there, this final is the number one pick of everyone. Therefore, we had no choice but to mention this match. The problem isn't that Roger lost this final, the problem is that he wasn't at his best. The first two sets from Federer in this final were just stunning. Federer was still feeling the after effects of mononucleosis, a disease that got him off to a bad start in 2008. We have no idea how long it takes for one to recover from mono. Even if the Swede had recovered 100%, it seemed like he'd had all of his confidence. Federer wasn't himself for the whole of 2008, apart from his match against Andy Murray. In the US Open final, he made short work of Murray and won the final with ease. Before heading into the Wimbledon final, Roger suffered his biggest defeat yet to Rafa in the French Open final, 1-6, 3-6, 0-6. That definitely didn't give a boost to his confidence. Therefore, we can't be 100% sure that it was the best match of all time. It never looked like Federer was gonna win. After losing the first two sets, Roger stepped up his game and did very well to fight back. The game had almost everything in it. It surely was one of the best matches Federer had ever played. Let's look at French Open 2009 fourth round versus Haas for number 8. We'd say that this match was indeed the great escape. Federer had a lot in common with another phenomenon in this game. His name is Harry Houdini, the escape artist, the man who could literally escape from anything. Some say that Houdini even escaped his own death. In that match, Federer reminded us a lot of Houdini, especially in the third set when he was a virtual match point down. To win that point, Roger hit one of his signature shots, the inside-out forehand. That shot will stay in our memories forever. It basically won the match at the French Open for Roger. You won't find Federer hitting a more important winner in his whole career. This game showed the determination and heart of Federer more than any other. His guile and escape artistry were also on display during the game. It's not always a matter of playing beautifully or playing well, but showing determination and willpower when things aren't going your way. At number 7, 2009 Madrid final versus Nadal. This game was a clinical and clean performance from the Swede from start to finish. It is considered to be the rebirth of Roger Federer, because this was the game where the Swiss maestro finally got his mojo back after being in a slump since the start of 2008. Many thought that Roger would never come back after his poor start to the year, but he's a legend for a reason. This win came at just the right time for him. He peaked at the right moment when Djokovic and Nadal were utterly dominating the season up until that point. Both Nadal and Djokovic suffered an early upset when the French Open came around as Federer wrapped up the title. All this seemed to be a part of his master plan. It looked like the universe finally wanted Roger to win the French Open title. You can call it whatever you want, but this match was the one in which Federer emerged from the dark and stepped out into the light. It was a big moment in his career as it allowed him to fulfill his destiny as a tennis player. To perform so well against your main rival on the biggest of days is just beautiful. Let's learn more about the fourth round of Wimbledon 2001 versus Sampras at number 6. Federer was a promising young prospect up until this match in his career. The kid from Switzerland impressed everyone through his amazing shots. It was a top-notch match between two of tennis's best talents. It seemed like Roger was cruising when he went up to 2 sets to love, but Sampras also hit back with all he had to take the match into the deciding fourth set. Sampras won a breakup in the decider, and everyone thought it was for Roger. Somehow, Sampras managed to lose the grip of the match, and Federer took full advantage of that. He defeated Sampras in the fourth round of the game. That was initially the rise of Roger Federer. Up until that point, Pete Sampras was the king of Wimbledon. He was pretty much unbeatable. Sampras had only lost once at SW19 in 8 years. This win from Federer definitely caught the eye of the world. It was a vintage display of grass court tennis. Up next at number 5, 2006 final versus Rafael Nadal in Rome. Even though Roger ended up losing the final, it was easily one of his best matches of all time. Federer was leading the game by 4-1 in the third set. He had 2 match points at 6-5 and 40-15. Roger made many unforced errors on the forehand side of both points. This game is a tribute to Federer's main rival's clay court genius and his fighting abilities. With a win in this game, Rafael Nadal also equaled the record of Guillermo Vilas of 53 consecutive match wins on clay. For number 4, 2003 Master Cup final versus Agassi. Before the final, Federer and Agassi also played against each other in the first round of the Masters Cup. Roger emerges as the winner after a nail-biting match. Federer was in domination mode after that win. These two met once again in the final. The Swiss player blasted Agassi, who's the best baseliner in history off the court. Federer played some scary tennis in that final, and after his first Wimbledon title that year, this was a clear message to the world that Roger Federer had arrived. The Swede was in the zone in the match. He couldn't do anything wrong, and for most of the match, Agassi was merely a spectator. After the final, Agassi also said that Federer is a better player than Sampras. Agassi was shocked at how good of a player Federer is. We can imagine how it feels to face Roger Roger in that form. Agassi wasn't feeling bad after that loss. He knew he lost to the best tennis player, and the only thing he could do was admire Roger. Now for number 3, 2004 US Open Final versus Hewitt. It was another demolition job by Roger Federer, and that too in a Grand Slam final. On his best day, Roger made his opponent look bad, no matter who he was playing against. You don't see a double bagel in a Grand Slam final too often, and that too against a player of Hewitt's class. We can only wonder how Roger would have done against other greats like Connors and Sampras in this form. We can't help but feel that Federer would have schooled him as well. To put it in simple words, Roger Federer was unbeatable in that kind of form. Following up with the 2009 French Open versus Del Potro at number 2. It was just amazing to witness how Roger found a way to win that game. Del Potro was overpowering Roger, but it still wasn't enough to beat him. Potro's ground strokes and serves were too heavy for Federer to take. He just kept on waiting for the moment when Del Potro got tired. The Swede really showed how genius he is in that match. Anyone who was watching that game thought that the Swiss Superman had already lost the match. Roger delivered his knockout blow when Del Potro started to get tired. It was some legendary stuff from Roger. He went on to win the game after a stroke of genius. Finally at number 1, the 2007 Australian Open versus Andy Roddick. Having just made the final of the 2006 US Open and defeating Roger in the WTF that same year, Roddick was on a roll. Things changed pretty quickly for Roddick as Federer handed him his worst defeat against him. Andy was increasingly frustrated and helpless. It was an amazing display from the maestro. Federer went on to win the tournament without dropping a set. That's a wrap for this video. Do you have any other game of Roger in mind? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.